Hello everyone, this is Andrew McNair from SWAN Capital with our informational economic update for December 2018. In this month's video, I'm going to discuss major headlines that influence markets in November, but provide you insight into what these developments could mean for you as an investor. Now, as always, please stay tuned at the end of this video for a required disclosure statement. So November closed on a strong note despite a real month of volatility. Details like trade disputes, oil supply, and dropping prices caused markets to fluctuate all over the place. By month's end, however, investors, altogether they were probably sick with the turbulence, showed optimism at the end of the month that markets finally had rebounded. For the month of November, if we look at the details, the S&P 500 rose 1.8%. The Dow gained 1.7%. One reason that November's upturn was probably due to the annual G20 summit in Buenos Aires. There's been a lot of anticipation between President Trump and China's president. And ahead of their session, the Dow rallied nearly 200 points. The leaders plan to meet to discuss the cooling down between tension that's surrounding the trade environment between our two countries. And even though they had really great conversations, people are still skeptical. President Trump also met with Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and they signed between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada agreement, which still must pass Congress. While some are hopeful that the North American Free Trade Agreement replacement will resolve all the trade disputes between our three countries, a lot of people still remain skeptical. So G20 news also impacted oil, which had its largest monthly decline in nearly 10 years. Continuing from October, oil prices have fell 22%. Now, leaders like Saudi Arabia and Russian leaders met at the summit to discuss solutions before OPEC's December meeting. These developments can and hopefully will boost investors' confidence. Now, updates on interest rate hikes have everyone's attention lately. On Wednesday, November 28th, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell remarked that interest rates are close to the current neutral range. That neutral range is from 2.5% to 3.5%. And his comments seem to suggest that the Fed may throttle back interest rate hikes, which cause stocks to finally rise. Still, economists expect interest rates to increase either here in December or in 2019. Additionally, a variety of key data was released in November that the U.S. economy is still on track for growth, which is fantastic news. But if you look at factory production, which climbed, the ISM Manufacturing Index is beating expectations at 59.3. Anything above 50 means that growth is still ahead. Now, if you look at consumer confidence, how we react as consumers means a big deal to the economy. It slipped since the 18-year peak that we reached in November. But that's okay. The index suggests that some Americans may be worrying about income and the state of business in the U.S. Nevertheless, tax cuts and a solid labor market have helped boost consumer sentiment. And as we go into tax time in the first quarter of 2019, hopefully that will continue to boost consumer confidence. Now, if we look at the job market, 200,000 jobs were added in November. And this development keeps unemployment rate still at historic lows at 3.7%. That's the lowest in 48 years. So that's fantastic news in the job market. So together, if we look at all these healthy indicators, it suggests that the economy is still on the right track as we close out 2018. Now, as additional data and information from November becomes available, we're going to have a better understanding of the month's performance. But with trade and oil conflicts and talks at the G20 summit, investors can now turn to December and the new year with better expectations. Now, as always, we encourage you to focus on the fundamental, especially when it meets volatility in the market. That's it for this month's informational economic update. Once again, this is Andrew McNair from SWAN Capital, hoping you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.